The sun was bright outside, but Malik's heart still felt dark. It had been 2 years since his wife, Nina, died in a terrible car crash. He still couldn't believe she was gone. Every night, he looked at her picture beside his bed and whispered, "I miss you." His little daughter, Amara, was only 6 when it happened. Now she was 8, full of questions and dreams, but still asked about mommy almost every day. Malik tried his best to stay strong for her. They had moved to a quieter town, far from the memories, hoping to start fresh. But even in this quiet place, the past had a way of following them. One Saturday afternoon, Malik took Amara to a small cafe they hadn't tried before. It sat on the corner of Maple Street with yellow chairs outside and the smell of warm muffins floating through the air. Amara was excited. She held her daddy's hand and skipped beside him. Inside, they found a table near the window. The place was peaceful with soft music playing and a few people chatting. A waitress walked by carrying a tray of lemonade. Amara blinked, stared, then grabbed her father's arm tightly. "Daddy," she whispered. "That waitress looks like Mommy." Malik smiled sadly. "Sweetheart, I know you miss Mommy. But she's in heaven now, remember?" Amara shook her head. "No, Daddy. Look." Malik turned his head slowly. The waitress stood just a few feet away, helping another table. She had long curly hair, the same honey-brown skin as Nina, and eyes that looked like sunlight through glass. Her voice was soft and gentle. She smiled Nina's smile. Malik's heart stopped. He stared, frozen. The tray in her hands. The way she tilted her head when she laughed. The way she moved. It was like watching a ghost. His breath caught in his throat. Amara whispered, "Is that Mommy?" Malik couldn't speak. His hands trembled. "It can't be," he whispered back. The woman looked over and smiled politely at them. "Hi there. I'll be with you in just a second." Her voice. It was soft. Familiar. Amara smiled. "She sounds like Mommy too." Malik's mind raced. No, Nina died. She was in a crash. The doctors said her car went off the road. They said the body was burned and had to be cremated quickly. He had never even seen her face. Only a locket the police gave him from the scene. When the waitress returned, she held a notepad. "Hi there. My name's Jade. Can I get you anything?" "Jade," Malik said, staring at her face. She looked uncomfortable. "Yes," she nodded. "Jade, is everything okay, sir?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah, lemonade. And a muffin for my daughter." She smiled. "Coming right up." Amara whispered again. "She even walks like Mommy." Malik sat in silence, watching her. What if the doctors were wrong? What if something strange happened? What if Nina didn't die? The thought felt crazy. But her face, her eyes, her hands, he had to know. When Jade brought their food, Malik looked straight at her. "Have we met before?" She gave a small laugh. "I don't think so. You look like someone I used to know," he said softly. She tilted her head. "I get that a lot. People say I have a familiar face." Malik stared harder. She shifted, nervous. Then she said, "I'll give you a moment to enjoy your food," and walked away quickly. Malik looked down at his lemonade but didn't drink it. His heart was pounding. He remembered the accident again. Nina had gone to the city for a special medical treatment. She had a rare illness. Only one doctor had agreed to treat her. Dr. Langston, someone from a private clinic called Bright Haven. Nina had said the place was strange, but they promised hope. Then suddenly the crash happened. And just like that she was gone. But now she was here? Alive? No, that didn't make sense. Or did it? Amara poked at her muffin. "Daddy, are you okay?" He nodded, but tears were in his eyes. "I'm just thinking, baby." She leaned on his shoulder. "I think Mommy's back." They finished their food quietly. Malik kept glancing at Jade, no, at the woman who might be Nina. She didn't look at them again. When they left, Malik turned around and took one last look. She was wiping a table near the window, humming softly. The same song Nina used to hum when she cooked dinner. That night, Malik couldn't sleep. He sat at the kitchen table, staring at the photo of Nina on his phone. He opened his laptop and looked up Bright Haven Institute. There wasn't much, just a website with smiling doctors and glowing reviews. No mention of what kind of treatment Nina had. No clear address. He remembered how fast the hospital had insisted on the cremation. How they wouldn't let him see her body. How Dr. Langston had called him, sounding distant, saying there was nothing we could do. Then silence. It had always felt wrong, but grief had kept him from questioning it. Now questions filled his mind like a flood. He looked at the cafe's address and wrote it down. Tomorrow he would go back. He needed to see her again. to talk, to ask questions. Even if she said she wasn't Nina, he had to know. He sat on the couch, head in his hands. Could it really be her? Or was his heart playing tricks? Upstairs, Amara was fast asleep, hugging her stuffed bunny. But even in her dreams, she smiled. Somewhere deep in her little heart, she knew. Mommy had come back. The next morning, Malik dressed quickly and packed a small notebook in his coat. He dropped Amara off at school, kissed her cheek, and promised, "Daddy has something important to do today." All morning, his heart raced. He drove back to the small cafe and parked across the street. He didn't go in. Instead, he watched. She was already inside, serving customers, laughing kindly. Her hair was pulled back in a ponytail. Same dimples. Same little wrinkle at the side of her eye when she smiled. He wasn't imagining it. This woman, Jade, was Nina. He was almost sure. But why didn't she recognize him? Why didn't she say his name? He had to tell someone. But who would believe him? That night, he called Trevor, Nina's older brother. Trevor lived in another town now and didn't visit much. They hadn't spoken in months. "Trevor, it's me," Malik said. "I need you to listen and not laugh." "I'm listening," Trevor said, confused. "I saw Nina today." There was silence on the line. "What?" "I saw her. At a cafe. She's working there as a waitress. She says her name is Jade, but it's her. I swear it." Trevor sighed. "Malik, Nina died. I know what I saw. I'm not crazy. You're still grieving." "No. Listen to me. She has the same smile, same voice, even hums the same song Nina used to sing. Amara saw her too. She said, 'That's Mommy.'" Trevor was quiet again. Then he said, "Send me a picture." Malik had taken one from the car. He texted it. Minutes passed. Then Trevor called back. His voice was shaky. "That's her." "Malik, that's my sister." "I knew it. But how is that possible?" "I think something happened at that clinic Nina went to. Bright Haven. Dr. Langston. Something's not right." They decided to meet the next day and go through Nina's old medical files. Malik still had the folder. He hadn't opened it in a long time. When Trevor arrived, they spread the papers out on the table. Appointment dates, letters, and prescription notes. But something strange caught Malik's eye. "What's this?" he asked, pointing. A form signed by Nina, approval for experimental treatment. Malik had never seen it before, and Nina had never mentioned it. The signature didn't even look like hers. Trevor frowned. Nina was scared of experiments. She would have told us. "And look at this," Malik said, pulling up his laptop. He typed in Bright Haven Institute. But this time he dug deeper. He found a news article from 6 years ago. Bright Haven had once been investigated for shady research. It was quickly shut down and reopened a year later under the same doctor, Dr. Elias Langston. "I knew it," Malik whispered. "Something's going on. They're hiding something. They needed help." Trevor remembered someone, an old friend of their father's. Miss Rosa. She used to be a private investigator. Now she was retired, but maybe she could help. The next day, they visited Miss Rosa at her small house filled with dusty books and old cameras. She was in her 70s, sharp-eyed and strong. "Tell me everything," she said. They told her the whole story. Nina's death, the quick cremation, Jade at the cafe, and the strange medical forms. Miss Rosa listened closely, tapping her notebook. "Something smells bad," she said. "This place, Bright Haven, has secrets. I can feel it." Over the next week, Miss Rosa followed Jade. She watched the cafe, took notes, took photos. She found out that Jade lived in a small rented apartment nearby, but no family, no friends, no phone records before 2 years ago. Then Miss Rosa found something big. "She's been going to a clinic once a week," she told them. "A van picks her up. Dark windows. No logo. I followed it." "And?" Malik asked. "It went to a place in the hills. No signs, no name on the gate. But I got a picture of the driver." She handed Malik a photo. His hands shook. It was Dr. Langston, the same doctor who had treated Nina before her death. "Now we know," Miss Rosa said. "They didn't just fake her death. They're doing something to her brain. Something to make her forget who she really is." Malik felt sick. Why? Why would they do that? "Money, power, control," Miss Rosa said. "They've done this to others too. I found old patient files. People who disappeared after going to Bright Haven. It's a mind reprogramming lab." Malik slammed his hand on the table. "We have to stop this." That night, Malik couldn't sleep again. He kept thinking of Jade, Nina, smiling at other customers, not knowing her real name, her real daughter, her real husband. He remembered their wedding, her laugh, the way she used to brush Amara's hair and sing lullabies. She was still alive, but someone had stolen her mind. He went back to the cafe one more time. This time he spoke. "Jade," he said as she brought water to the table. "Yes?" she asked kindly. He looked into her eyes. "You don't remember me, do you?" She frowned. "I'm sorry. Should I? You're not Jade. Your name is Nina." She blinked. "No, that's not my name. Please," he whispered. "Look at this." He handed her a photo of their wedding day. Her hand in his. Her smile bright. Her hand trembled. She stared at the photo for a long time. Her lips moved but made no sound. Then she gave the photo back, her eyes glassy. "I'm sorry. I think you've made a mistake." She turned and walked away quickly. Malik sat there, broken. But something in her eyes, for just a moment, he saw it. A flicker. A spark. A piece of Nina. She was still in there. And he was going to bring her back. No matter what it took. Malik couldn't forget the look in her eyes. For just 1 second, when she stared at the wedding photo, he saw something spark, like a tiny memory waking up. That was enough. He met with Miss Rosa and Trevor again that night. He slammed his hand on the table. "We're going in. I need to see what's happening inside that hidden clinic. I need to bring Nina back." Miss Rosa nodded. "I thought you'd say that. Good thing I've been preparing." She pulled out a small bag filled with tools, tiny cameras, recording pens, and a special earpiece. "I used to go undercover all the time," she said with a smirk. "I'll help," Trevor added. "If that's really my sister, I want her back too." They made a plan. The next morning, Miss Rosa dressed like a rich old woman and called the clinic, pretending to be a new client. "I've heard you do special treatments for memory loss," she said sweetly. "I want to try." The voice on the phone told her to come for a visit. Miss Rosa went in. Tiny camera in her brooch. Recorder in her purse. When she came out, her face was pale. "They have a whole underground level," she whispered. "And Malik, she's there." "I saw her." "Nina?" Malik asked, his heart pounding. "Yes." She was sitting in a white room. A man was showing her pictures and asking her questions. "They're still reprogramming her." Malik stood up. "We're stopping this tonight." That evening, under the cover of darkness, Malik, Trevor, and Miss Rosa drove to the hidden clinic. Miss Rosa had found an old tunnel through the woods, a forgotten delivery entrance. They snuck inside. The halls were cold and gray. Everything smelled like chemicals. They heard voices and ducked behind a wall. A doctor in a white coat walked by, talking to a nurse. "She's almost ready," the doctor said. "Soon, she'll believe she's Jade completely. The past will be erased." Malik's fists tightened. "No, she won't." They crept deeper until they found the room. There she was. Nina. Sitting in a chair, eyes wide, staring at a screen showing flashing lights and whispers. Wires on her head. Dr. Langston stood beside her, typing on a computer. Malik couldn't wait. He ran in. "Nina. It's me." "Malik." Dr. Langston shouted, "Security." But Malik ignored him. He ran to her, yanked the wires off her head, and held her face in his hands. "Nina, look at me. It's me, Malik. Your husband. We have a daughter. Her name is Amara. You used to sing to her. You love sunflowers. You hate soggy toast. Please, remember." Nina's eyes were blank. Then she blinked. Her lips trembled. She whispered, "Amara." "Yes." Malik cried, tears pouring down his face. "Yes. That's our daughter. You remember." Suddenly, alarms blared. Guards ran in. But Miss Rosa had already called the police. Her recorder had captured everything: Dr. Langston's voice, the wires, the lies. Within minutes, sirens filled the air. Police stormed the building. Dr. Langston tried to run but was caught. Nina, no, Jade was confused and shaky. She held Malik's hand tightly. Outside, Trevor hugged her gently. "You're safe now, sis. We've got you." The next few weeks were hard. Nina went to a special hospital where kind doctors helped her heal. They gave her therapy, showed her old photos, reminded her of her past. She didn't remember everything at once. Some days were harder than others. But one day, when Malik brought Amara to visit, Nina bent down slowly. "Hello," she said gently. Amara reached up and touched her face. "You look like my mommy." Nina smiled softly. "That's because I am." Amara threw her arms around her and everyone cried. Dr. Langston and his helpers were sent to prison. The news about the fake clinic, the memory erasing, and the stolen lives shocked the country. People came forward, others who had lost loved ones to Bright Haven. It became the biggest case the city had ever seen. Laws were changed. The clinic was shut down forever. And the world learned how dangerous secrets can hide in plain sight. 6 months later, Malik, Nina, and Amara sat in the backyard of their home, watching the sunset. Nina still couldn't remember everything. But she remembered enough. She remembered love. She remembered family. And that was more than enough. Amara ran through the grass, laughing. Malik put his arm around Nina and kissed her temple. "I never gave up," he whispered. "I know," Nina replied, holding his hand. And even though they had walked through shadows, they had found their way back to the light together. The truth, no matter how hidden, had found its voice. And love, strong and brave, had brought Nina home.